Hello everyone, this is Anirudh from Edureka, and in this session we'll be checking out how using an IDE for Python helps all of the coders out here. So this session will be mainly focused on PyCharm as it has been the best utilized IDE for the most commonly used general purpose programming languages of today, which is Python. Now, before we begin this session, let me quickly give you a snapshot of the flow of topics for today. Guys, we will begin this session by checking out what an IDE means. Later, we'll check out why require an IDE, and I'll introduce you guys to one of the best Python IDE out there now, which is PyCharm, and I'll later walk you through using PyCharm as well. So without further ado, let's begin by checking out what an IDE actually is. An IDE is the short for an integrated development environment. So it is basically a software environment used to write other programs using tools like an editor or say even a compiler as well. Well, this can prove to be an extremely useful tool when coding using various languages for multiple reasons and requirements, right? So it is not a compulsion to make use of an IDE, but it makes your life so much easier, and I'm sure you guys will agree at the end of this session. So moving on, now that we know what an IDE is, let us look at why we need to make use of an IDE. While it is not necessary to use an IDE to write a program, but the added features which the IDE provides are definitely a handful, guys. So these are some of the advantages of using an IDE, and let me walk you through each of these. So first we have Code Insight. Guys, Code Insight is one of the most helpful tools that an IDE can provide, which is definitely the ability for the program to interpret what is being typed out by the user. So the program can change text color to represent different, say, classes, functions, and variables as well. So I'm pretty sure you guys have heard of Microsoft Visual Studio, right? So these guys actually offer something called as IntelliSense that can actually predict what you're typing out and finish your words for you as well. And other IDEs also offer a similar tool called something proprietary to that particular program as well. So Microsoft calls it as IntelliSense, but depending on the IDE, it might be called something else, guys. So another feature to the IDEs is to provide the ability to debug your particular program. This definitely has to be one of the most important tools to deploying any successful program. Testing is very crucial to make sure that your user does not experience any incident while the code cannot handle a specific error and say it crashes out. Guys, debugging provides you with the ability to run through the entire program, stopping the code at specific points to check values of the variables or say any other interests. And you can also verify that the code and the functions are running as intended. And finally, a few more tools that the IDEs offer can be resource management and the ability to compile your code as well. So when writing a new program, there are usually many different files that have been referenced in a specific path locations, right? So it makes it very important for running the program so that these files are in the correct location and are accessible to all of the dependencies. So using an IDE makes it easier to see a visual representation of the location of these files, and this eventually makes it more understandable for the user as well. And then we have increased efficiency, guys. So definitely, right? So faster coding with less effort. Who wouldn't like that? And then we have collaboration. So basically a group of programmers can easily work together within an IDE under the same project as well. And this definitely is a plus. And next, project management. Well, yeah, for sure, right? So program resources are easily shared and used, and you can get a better clarity of the overall project as well just by making use of an IDE, which is again another good plus point over here. So now that we know why we need an IDE, let us quickly walk through a little bit of Python now. So guys, Python is a very versatile language. It has thousands of libraries and modules to work with. And personally, I think Python is really fun to work with when compared to all of the other languages out there. It is very beginner friendly, which is extremely important, and the syntax is very simple to figure out as well. Well, as a beginner, I think this is very vital to start out with the language, right? And best of all, no semicolons. So who wouldn't love that as well? And since Python and all of its libraries are open source, it has gained a lot of traction among startups and the industry as well. And this definitely leads to millions of happy learners across the globe. So you might be wondering why you should consider learning Python, right? So guys, it has such a wide range of application, I couldn't fit it all in this slide. Well, everything from web development using Django and Bottle, mathematical computations using NumPy, SymPy, and so on, and even designing your own GUI using tkinter and making your games using Pygame and so much more. And best of all, the length of the code is relatively short, so this is a huge advantage, guys. And lastly, Python is definitely fun to work with, and I personally love Python, guys. So what do you think about Python? Head to the comment section and let me know, and we can interact there. So next up, let us check out the environments that we can make use to code in Python. So guys, another good thing about Python is that we can make use of any number of IDEs we can want, right? So there are multiple number of IDEs which support Python. So everything from Eclipse, Notepad++, Bluefish, we have Komodo, and we have Win as well. So the support for each of these IDEs is vast, and my suggestion is that you try all of them out and use whatever you find comfortable with, and then go ahead, guys. So in my opinion, liking an IDE is basically like liking an ice cream flavor. You have to try it, and only then you'll realize if this is meant for you or not. I personally lean towards PyCharm because I love every single feature it provides, and I feel like home when coding with it. And I'm pretty sure you guys will have a really good idea about PyCharm by the end of this tutorial, so make sure to stay tuned till the end. So now exactly on that note, let us start checking out PyCharm. So guys, many programmers nowadays opt for Python to build software application, right? So they need the code to be concise, clean, and readable as well. They can even accelerate custom software application development by actually taking advantage of the number of IDEs supported for Python. Well, a company called JetBrains has actually developed PyCharm as a cross-platform IDE for Python. In addition to supporting versions 2.x and 3.x of Python, PyCharm is also compatible with Windows, Linux, and even Mac OS. And at the same time, the tools and the features provided by PyCharm helps programmers to write a variety of software applications in Python very quickly and efficiently, guys. So the developers can even customize the PyCharm UI according to their specific needs and preferences. Also, they can extend the IDE by choosing over, I think, say around 50 plugins as well to meet their complex project requirements. So again, it is a win-win for everyone, starting from the beginner to the advanced user as well. So PyCharm is one of the most widely used IDEs for Python programming, as I mentioned. At present, Python IDE is being used by all of the large enterprises like Twitter, we have Pinterest, we have HP, we have Symantec, and even Groupon, guys. So this is really a good thing in terms of industry traction. So now that that's done, we need to check out why PyCharm is so popular. I'm sure you guys were thinking about this, right? So guys, head to the comment section and let me know what are your thoughts and views on PyCharm at this moment. So let me quickly walk you through all of the features and the tools provided by PyCharm, guys. So first we'll look at the features and later we'll move to the tools. So the first important tool we have is the code editor, guys. So what is the code editor feature? So basically, the intelligent code editor provided by PyCharm enables all of us programmers to write, say, high quality Python code directly, guys. So the editor enables programs to read code easily through their different color schemes, insert indents on new lines automatically, pick the appropriate coding style, and avail context-aware code completion as well. And at the same time, the programmers can also use the editor to expand a code block to an expression or a logical block. They can also avail code snippets, format the code, identify the errors and misspellings as well. They can even detect duplicate code and auto-generate code too. Also, the editor makes it easier for developers to basically analyze the code on the whole and identify the errors while writing the code, guys. Now that was an important feature, right? So next one I want to talk about is code navigation, guys. So the smart code navigation options provided by PyCharm basically help the programmers to edit and improve the code without putting any extra effort or time. The IDE basically makes it easier for the programmers to go to a class or a file, a symbol, and go along to the declarations invoked from a particular reference as well. And the user can even find an item in the source code or the code snippet, UI element, or a user action almost immediately. So basically they can further locate usage of various symbols and set benchmarks in the code. And also at the same time, the developers can even take advantage of the code navigation feature to scrutinize the code throughoutly in this mode called as the lens mode, guys. So next up we have refactoring. Well, PyCharm definitely makes it easier for the developers to implement both local and global changes really quickly and efficiently, guys. So the developers can even take advantage of the refactoring options provided by the IDE while writing plain Python code and working with Python frameworks. They can avail the rename and move factoring for files, classes, functions, methods, even properties, parameters, and local and global variables as well. Also, likewise, they can improve the code quality by extracting variables, fields, constants, and even parameters. Also, PyCharm allows programmers to break up longer classes and methods through the extract method. So next up is support for web technologies. Guys, PyCharm makes it easier for programmers to write various web applications in Python. So Python basically supports technologies like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, TypeScript, and even CoffeeScript, right? So the web developers can basically use the live editing preview options provided by the IDE to view a single web page simultaneously in the editor as well as the browser. So at the same time, the live edit feature provided by the IDE enables programmers to see the changes made to the code instantaneously on a web browser. PyCharm further allows developers to avail a JavaScript debugger as well as CoffeeScript and TypeScript editors as well. Do note that it even simplifies isomorphic web application development as well. And this is done because it supports both AngularJS and Node.js, guys. So the last feature is support for Python scientific libraries. So guys, PyCharm further helps programmers to use Python more efficiently in big data and data science projects as well. So it supports some of the widely used scientific libraries for Python, starting from NumPy, Anaconda, and Matplotlib as well. So the developers can work efficiently with all of these scientific libraries by availing the interactive graphs, deep code insight, even array viewers provided by the IDE. They can even run the REPL Python console provided by PyCharm to avail robust features like on-the-fly syntax check and code inspection as well. And at the same time, programmers can also integrate the IDE seamlessly with the IPython notebook to create innovative solutions without putting extra time and effort as well. So that is a really good added advantage as well, right? So now that we're done with the features, let me quickly walk you through the important tools. Well, all these tools definitely give PyCharm the upper hand, so let's check it out. So the first one we'll be checking out is database tools. In addition to supporting various Python libraries and frameworks, PyCharm allows developers to work with a number of relational databases including Oracle, SQL Server, MySQL, and even PostgreSQL as well. So the developers can further use the IDE to run the queries, edit the SQL code, browse data, alter table data, and even analyze the schemas as well. Well guys, PyCharm further supports SQL Alchemy library and inject SQL code into code which is written in various programming languages as well. The professional edition of the IDE further makes it easier for the developers to handle large volumes of data efficiently through the data grids. And next we have Visual Debugger. So guys, the Visual Debugger provided by the IDE basically helps the programmers to debug Python, JavaScript, and Django code directly. The developers can use the inline debugger to see live debugging data directly on the editor. Likewise, they can build multiple Python processes simultaneously and step through the code bypass libraries as well. PyCharm further creates reusable and customizable configuration for each test script or debugger execution. The user can have an option to facilitate remote debugging by integrating the visual debugger with the remote interpreters directly. And the next feature we have is built-in terminal. Well guys, PyCharm comes with a local terminal for Windows, Linux, and Mac as well. So the built-in terminal basically enables the programmers to continue the code and test without ever leaving the IDE. Also, the programmers can use the IDE to basically run the Python files and configure custom Python environments. Well, this is done according to the precise project requirements as well, so that's good. And at the same time, they can run interactive Python or Django console directly into the IDE. And the console provides useful features like code completion, automatic braces management, and dynamic syntax change. The programmers even have an option to integrate the console with both local and remote interpreters. So the terminal is a really big advantage, guys. And next up, we have software testing. So like any other IDEs, PyCharm also comes with features and tools to simplify Python application testing. It allows developers to perform unit testing through popular Python testing framework like NOS, Attests, and DocTests as well. So the testers even have an option to run individual or multiple test files and test classes, guys. They can further integrate the IDE with coverage.py to measure the code coverage while testing the applications as well. And while testing multi-threaded applications, the testers can use the thread concurrency visualization option provided by the IDE to control the application fully and efficiently. At the same time, PyCharm enables users to deliver high-quality software by implementing behavior-driven development, guys. In short, we actually call this as BDD. And lastly, we have remote development capabilities. Guys, PyCharm allows developers to connect with various machines and build software applications remotely. The programmers can avail the built-in SSH console provided by the IDE to basically connect to machines and perform various development tasks remotely through SSH. So they can even run, debug, and profile the Python applications in a remote environment by replacing the local interpreter with that of the remote interpreter. And also, PyCharm enables programmers to create reproducible development environments through a robust tool called as Vagrant, guys. And this basically simplifies distributed application development, and this is done using Docker. The users even have the option to integrate PyCharm seamlessly with issue tracking systems as well. So in my opinion, that is enough of knowing what it offers. So let us dive right into PyCharm now, and I'll walk you through the interface. Let me open up my PyCharm. So guys, this is probably the first screen that PyCharm greets you with. So on the left here, you will basically have all of the codes that you have actually worked with or any of the recent projects that you've opened. I have a handful of projects right here. So basically this might be blank for you if you're installing PyCharm for the first time. And guys, installing PyCharm is very simple. So it is free and the installation is extremely straightforward as well. So all you need to do is go to the official website and it's a single step download procedure. I already have it installed on my machine as you can see, but if you require any assistance installing PyCharm, then put your queries down in the comment section and I'll help you get started quickly. So first, let's go ahead and create a new project in PyCharm, guys. So all you need to do is hit create new project on the right side and give a name for the project. So let me just type it out as PyCharm test. And then for now, you might not have the Python interpreter. I'll just come back to this. So for now, let me just hit create and let PyCharm take us to the UI. So basically it has created the project folder for us as you can check out on the left and it is blank, right? And this part actually queries all the skeleton procedure. And this is the time where it actually sort of scrolls through and checks all of the installed packages and also it probably will take a while and you could actually catch it rotating somewhere here, guys. So this is good. So let us quickly go ahead and create a new Python file that we can write into. So click new scratch file. What type of file are we trying to do here? So the file we're trying to do is Python here, right? So that, and you can write in different languages as well. So basically you can use XHTML, XML, HTML, DTD, command line as well. So right now, since we're doing Python, let me quickly go ahead and type in Python. So as you can see, we have a scratch file, which says scratch.py, guys. So you can basically right click, refactor and rename this to whatever you want. But since this is just a demo, I'll leave it at scratch. So then there are multiple options to go with as well. But if you want to get started really simple, just follow all the procedure until now to create your scratch file. And later you need to add the configuration to actually use Python to run this, guys. So we click on add configuration, click on the tiny plus icon, Python, and then we don't have any configurations, right? So let me name this test config and then the script path. The script path basically is providing the path to the particular script. So it's PyCharm test. And then as soon as we come into the environment, here is where we'll be actually checking out our interpreter, guys. So I have multiple versions of Python installed. As you can see, I have 3.7 and I have 3.6 as well. So there is a very good chance that this might not show for you because you have not installed Python. And it is very simple to install Python, guys. So I'll just show you that in a second. So this is the part where we actually select our interpreter 3.7 and all we need to do is okay. So this is actually ready to execute with our test configuration, guys. So now coming back to on how you can install Python. Guys, so basically we open file, settings, and in settings, we actually come to project PyCharm test, guys. So click on the project interpreter and on the right side, you can actually check out the interpreter. So basically we have multiple interpreters here and for this case, I'm going to use Miniconda 3 and that is what I've used. So for your case, if you have not installed it, so go to the gear icon on the right and click add. Here you can actually use the system interpreter which has Python in it, guys. So in my case, I've installed it using Anaconda, so it says Anaconda. So make sure you click this and hit OK and you're done, guys. So apply. So now that all that is done, right? So how can we add all the packages to Python? Not everything comes inbuilt, right? So again, go to file, settings. This is pretty much almost same, guys. So we go to the interpreter and then we have the packages tab under this. So basically we use the gear icon to actually check out our interpreter. Now check out all the list we have, guys. So basically these are all of the packages that is installed for my particular case. So these are all of the libraries that are installed, guys. So in case if you need to add a library, hit on the plus icon on the right side So just type in any of the libraries that you require, right? So there are multiple installed as well. As you can see, whatever is in blue is actually installed. If I just type in TensorFlow, it says already installed, but then it won't be in blue for you because you might have not installed this, right? So click on that install package on the left side and you're good to go. How simple is it, guys? So now that we're actually all set up and we're waiting in our Scratch file, so let me quickly walk you through a tiny code snippet and we can check out the advantages here as well. So guys, let me try to quickly import a package here. I'm not even going to type the entire thing, right? So I just basically typed out the first three letters, IMP, and it is actually prompting me to pick up the entire thing, right? So this is basically how IntelliSense works in Visual Studio, and this is all the intelligence of PyCharm, guys. So it is at this point of time you can actually choose to type in the entire thing like ORT, or you can just again come back IMP, and then you realize that you want to use import. So all you need to do is either hit enter or you can hit tab as well, and it takes the entire thing. So this definitely helps reduce a lot of time by providing good predictions, right? So this was just basically one line of code. So imagine if you have to write hundreds and thousands of lines of code, then this is definitely a lifesaver in my opinion. So next I'm going to actually try importing a package, let's say Pygame. So import Pygame, come to the new line. So as you can check out, everything is grayed out here, right? So we can actually change the color by making sure we actually use something, right? So let me quickly go ahead, pygame.init, for example. As you can see, the color changed, right? So this is basically telling us that pygame is being used now. Simple as that. And next, this is another actually good tip for you guys. So let me quickly take an example. I equal to 10. I'm going to print I. So as you can already guess, this is not a very complex code, right? So it is going to print I. So as soon as I run this piece of code, I'm supposed to get I printed to be like 5 times, right? So check this out. This was only 5 times. So let's say you have a piece of code where you have to change something, right? So let me change this I to P quickly. And now that this has been changed to P, since this is a small program, I can probably go ahead and change this manually, right? So I can go ahead and change this to be P, again P, one more. See, again, it took like almost 20 seconds to do this for 5 times, right? So imagine if someone has to do this for thousands of lines of code. So it becomes really annoying, right? And this is where another useful feature of PyCharm helps us. So let me quickly select this P. As you can see, if this is selected, every P here is highlighted, right? So let me quickly right click on it, go to refactor and then hit rename. So let's say instead of P, we want it to be test. And as soon as I hit refactor, boom, as you can check out, right? So once this got changed, everything else got changed in just one click. And this is also a lifesaver in my opinion, guys. So next up, there are multiple keyboard shortcuts you can use as well. So basically, it's the same. We can use Control F to actually find something and then use it, right? So this actually works even in scope as well. So let's say you're in the scope of a function or a user-defined function or something, and then you want to find something in that particular scope. So this particular search option actually works there as well. So basically with coding, you would have done multiple changes, right? So you would have done multiple changes with your program. And in case you just want to check out what are all the changes that you have done, so we actually press Alt, Shift and C to actually give us a list of changes that we have actually done. Check this out. So these are all of the changes that we have actually done, right? So we deleted something or created a new Scratch file. So this basically goes in the reverse order, guys. So this is definitely useful in case you actually want to step back or check out what are the changes that got done. And then in case if you just want to print the same thing over and over again, you can do it as well. So let me quickly go ahead and type out print, say Edureka or something like this. Guys, these are all examples, right? So do not bother about the exact syntax right now. I'm just trying to show you how PyCharm works here. So basically, in case I have to just hit this print again, so instead of typing it out or copying it, pasting it to something, there is actually a shortcut, guys. I'm going to place the cursor here and I'm going to hit Control D. So Control D basically duplicates this entire line for us. And how cool is that, guys? So guys, the next feature I want to show you guys is basically to select a current column. So let me just quickly select print here, and then I'm going to use Alt and actually scroll, guys. I am not sure how you might actually use this, but you can select the columnar output of it, and maybe this might help for your particular requirement as right. So basically you can use it for indentation of the code as well, and then this basically depends on your requirement, but this is a very good feature provided by PyCharm, guys. So basically to run this, all you need to do is select it or right click, run Scratch, or say you can even click the play icon here as well. To debug it, there is a tiny bug icon on the right. So basically you just place the debugger wherever you want. and you can actually stop execution at this particular point of time and later move on from there as well. So guys, there are n number of features that PyCharm offers, and to keep this session simple, so I basically just showed you all of the tips and tricks that you can actually use with it. So guys, on the whole, PyCharm is one of the most popular IDEs for Python. So the Python programmers can make use of PyCharm as a licensed software as well. However, JetBrains allows developers to choose between three distinct editions of the IDE, guys: community, professional, and educational. The developers can always curtail software development cost by opting for the community edition of PyCharm. However, the community edition is free, but it still lacks some of the advanced features provided by the professional editions, guys. So JetBrains have been updating both editions of the Python IDE to make programmers more productive and simplify custom software development as well. Let's say, for instance, the professional edition of PyCharm 2017.3 actually makes it easier for developers to test functionalities of the API by providing a built-in REST client. Likewise, it accelerates web application development by allowing programmers to avail new features provided by Django 2.0. And also, it allows developers to visualize and analyze the data more efficiently through a data science model as well, guys. So now that we checked out PyCharm in a really good amount of detail, let me quickly conclude the session for you guys. So we started out by checking out what an IDE is. Later, we looked at why we need to make use of an IDE. Followed by that, we actually looked at the different IDEs you can make use of to code with Python. And lastly, we checked out Python in a small amount of detail, guys. So it is at this point of time I'd like to tell you that we have in-depth tutorials and blogs on Python, and even a complete master's program which will help you become a certified Python expert, guys. So I highly suggest you guys check it out. I'll put a link in the description box below so you can go ahead and master Python with that. So that is it for the small session, guys. I hope you took away some real good points from here and that this helped you kickstart your Python learning. So thank you guys, you know what to do. If you have any queries, leave a comment and subscribe to our channel for more information on the latest technologies and the courses offered.
I hope you have enjoyed listening to this video. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries, and we will reply them at the earliest. Do look out for more videos in our playlist and subscribe to Edureka channel to learn more. Happy learning!